Please donate to keep this guy paid, to keep us on the air, because you need this information for the year. John Turley Ewart is a writer, he is an advisor to the banks, he knows all about banking and corporate matters. And I want to put the question to you that what's going to happen with terrible Trump and those terrible tariffs? I've had guests on saying, you know what, Canadians should just bite the bullet, and it's going to be some disruption, but we are strong enough. If we get our resources going, we'll be rich enough that we can withstand it, and we may be better off in the long term.
I think that's a little bit optimistic. I've looked at the numbers. Some of the banks have crunched the numbers. If we had 25% tariffs imposed on us, and let's say we retaliated in kind,
right,
we're looking at our unemployment going from 500,000 to 3 million people.
Because the businesses would not be expanding, is that
exactly. You have, we can't, inflation goes up, you don't have people who can afford goods, you can't sell your product into the United States, people lose their jobs, and we can't have that. And so here's my concern. It feels good to retaliate, but the question is, how do we pay our bills in Canada? Because we're not going to be selling...
We sell resources.
Well, this is the challenge. I mean, we're hoping that the 25% tariffs won't be on everything, but if the Americans even decide, okay, we're going to exempt your oil, the question comes about, what about our other products as well that we sell into the U.S., the agricultural products that we sell in there? I know it feels good to kick the bully in the shins,
right?
But who do we hurt the most when we do that? Are we hurting our own people by increasing unemployment, reducing our gross domestic product, and throwing people out of work, for months on end?
The way you just painted that, clearly not. On the other hand, I mean, if Ford is saying, well, I'm going to cut off power to those states, it's just, I mean, Ford seems to know how to deal with Trump. I mean, there are two peas in a pod like that one. And if Trump does go ahead and do it, then what are we going to do? Just lay back and take it without saying, okay, we're going to stop your power. We're going to stop your bourbon coming up from Kentucky.
Well, look, I do get targeted tariffs, but we really need to have a conversation with the Americans. And what I mean by that is behind closed doors, conversations with some of Trump's key people who I think better understand the trade relationship. Because remember, Trump is playing to his audience. He doesn't really care about what people think in Canada. And so what we have to do is give something to his people to help Trump talk about why he would be making exemptions for Canada. And Doug Ford has already started that with his campaign in the U.S. I think he's on top of it. Clearly, we have a vacuum in Ottawa. Daniel Smith has done some work as well that's also been positive. We're a country now that are relying on our premiers to drive our trade strategy. The concern I have is if we go too far, if we have a broken strategy that ends up in tariffs, high tariffs, retaliatory tariffs, many ordinary Canadians who have their mortgages renewing this year, who may see inflation go up because of it, who may see bank rates stop going down because of it, are going to suffer.
Spoken like a true guy who knows the banks. John Turley Ewart, thank you very, very much. We have to be careful about this. 3 minutes. To those of you who have subscribed and donated, a heartfelt thank you. You're keeping us on the air. If you're watching and you haven't, please try to do so, because 4 years ago we started this show because there needed to be independent analysis. Now more than ever, with the Online Harms Act. Once that gets into law, it's been passed once by the House, there are going to be hundreds of bureaucrats censoring the news in Canada, censoring this show. We need to keep it on the air. Thanks for your support.